Hey guys, this is Crap Hunter in the Remembrance Day arena, which is surprisingly devoid of German tanks, but okay. Yes, this is the Remembrance Day slash Remembrance Sunday area, and it's very nice. It's quiet. There's no. Weirdly enough, you can't hear the birds. Yeah, you can't hear any birds, which is a little creepy. You'd expect with all these trees around for a few magpies or a few blackbirds. But no, it's all really quiet. And the first human being! Random dude over there, which is also a symbolization of someone standing on guard, which is, I find it very humbling, and it's very nice to see that World of Tanks incorporates stuff like this. And I quite like this area. Oh no, there is a tree. Tree. Yes, there is a tree. No, oh yes, there is a bird. No, one of the things I'm a little bit confused about is the fact that we've got French, American, Russian, British, of course, but no German. I mean, there's no Russian flags either. You've either got Irish, British, France, New Zealand, Australia, probably got Australia, New Zealand, I assume, Canada and America, of course, but no German tanks or German flags. Not during World War II, but we saw them at bloody the other one, so, biased much? Anyway, enough of the rambling. We're on to this video, the Marder 3. This is the Tier 4 German tank destroyer, the first new tank destroyer along that long tree, and Bob's thy uncle, bam! I have now elited this vehicle, which means I can now do a review on it. Huzzah! Yes, well basically, the Marder 3 comes along, if we have go to the tech tree, comes after the Marder 2, and you have a choice now from the Marder 2 for two choices of the German tank destroyer line. You either go down the Hetzer line, which gives you the Hetzer, the Stug, the Jagdpanzer 4, Jagdpanther, which then takes you to the multiple choice, either Jagdpanther 2 or 30, then takes you to Jagdtiger, then Jagdpanzer E100. Now, you have an option of going to the Marder 3, which is basically the Marder tank destroyer gun on the top, on the chassis of a Panzer 38T, because that's how Germany did it. Once you run out of a use for it, stick a bigger gun on it and call it a tank destroyer. I like it. And so, yeah, that's how it works. And then once you go along this line, you then go on to the Flak Bus, the Nashorn, the that thing, and the Waffle Tractor, Panzer 4, and the Waffle Tractor E100, which are freaking deadly. Yes, and so with that, the Marder 38T, or sorry, the Marder 3, she's a good tank. I really like her. This is a surprisingly good Tier 4 tank. In fact, it's very much... Although it's got shit armor, it's... Well, it doesn't look shit, but believe you me, it doesn't take much for this thing to die. She's very good. She is very good. I really like this tank, and in this you'll see why. So let's go to the stats. 270 hit points. Not bad. I mean, it's the same amount of hit points. Oops. It's the same amount of hit points for the Hetzer as well. You have a look there. 270 hit points. Let's have a look-see at our other tank destroyers. I believe the SU-85B was less. Yes, 10 less. Our American counterparts being at Tier 4. Where is it? There it is. Ah, yes. American Tier 4. You had the choice of the MAA-1, which is 250, or the other one, which was 240. Not bad, not bad. Let's have a look-see. The British have a choice in their Electo of 270, but the armor was absolutely pants, so even worse than the Marder 3. The French get the Sal 40, which, although has better hit points, it's apparently a shit tank destroyer, so fear not. And the Chinese don't have tank destroyers yet. Though that said, they'd probably be Russian. So just imagine the Chinese tank destroyers being Russian. So that said, you're pretty good in the middle for hit points wise, which is pretty awesome. It's not too bad. For weight, you weigh 10.81 tons without any kind of equipment and with the top gun. So that's pretty good. You're quite a light vehicle, and as such, your 180 horsepower engine, which if we have a look, doesn't say about horsepower per ton. Nope. So basically, all that combined gives you a nice good speed of 47 kilometers per hour. Though this doesn't accelerate really fast. It's not one of those tanks which really gets going earlier on. You have to go down a few hills and keep going straight for a while before you hit your top speed. But that said, this isn't bad for it. It's very good speeds. Definitely can get you from A to B and keep you going. 270 hit points. Now, this is actually the same amount of hit points that the Hetzer has, which is pretty cool. And if we have a little comparison with the other tank destroyer lines, let's have a look at Russia. The Su-85B having 260, the Americans with their 2 tank destroyers, this one actually having 250, but I'm not sure if they upgrade the turret. You can actually upgrade the turrets. I think tells me it might be more. The T-40 having 275, so that's more than you. The British having 270 in their Electo, but the Electo has worse armor than the Marder 3. The French actually are better than you by 10, but they are shit. That thing was just shit. It was absolutely shit. Yeah, it was terrible. It's a very bad tank destroyer. I may not have driven it, but I've heard so much about it, and it's not to be harsh, but it's French. You know what's going to happen afterwards. Anyway, so enough of the rage-inducing comments. Yes, the Marder 38T it has pretty good health actually. On average for tank. I mean, don't forget, tank destroyers doesn't have as much health as other tanks. But that said, this is a pretty average thing. If you've driven the Hetzer before, you're no stranger to the amount of health points you've got, which is pretty good on that one. The tank now also weighs at 10 tons and 10.81 tons, which isn't actually that heavy. I think it's actually lighter. Yes, you are. You are lighter than the Hetzer. So your 180 horsepower on the top engine gives you 47 kilometers per hour and a 42 traverse speed. This thing is quite a maneuverable tank. I mean, it's not super maneuverable. It does take you a while to get from 0 to 47, but you can get there, and you have a decent amount of speed. I think you're on par speed-wise with the Stug, which is actually slower than you, which is quite impressive. So there you go. This thing weighs less than you. You're like 10 extra tons more, and you can still catch up to stuff like this. So that's pretty good on that one. The traverse speed as well, 42 degrees. This thing can turn quite well, and especially if you've got 100% crew, this thing will be deadly at tier 4. This thing I've heard has been compared to the Marder 2, or is it Marder 3? Is it Marder 2 or Marder 3? I keep forgetting it. I keep assuming... No, this is the Marder 3. That was the Marder 2. Yeah, sorry. So yes, this has been compared to the Marder 2 at tier 3, which this is how the Marder 2 used to operate. It used to be quite a devastating tank destroyer with its 75mm gun, and it kicks ass and takes names, which is very impressive. Now on to its armor. Now, with this new tank destroyer line, unless you haven't heard too much about them, or don't really play them, the new tank destroyer line is going to be famous for 2 things. 1, it's amazingly good guns, but 2, it's amazingly shit armor. Now, weirdly enough, at the lower tiers, you have a higher chance of bouncing something than, say, well, not many tank destroyers can bounce stuff, but the armor-wise is terrible. I mean, 50 at the front, 15 to the sides, 15 to the rear. But when I talk about this, I say a higher chance of bouncing because at something as tier 7, for example, if we can go on to this one, I have no idea what to call it, it's got the same frontal armor. Oh dear God. Yes, this thing has the same frontal armor as a tier 4 tank destroyer. In fact, does this have the same frontal armor? No, it has worse. Yes. So, yes, this thing is absolutely terrible for armor, and this thing's most recommended tactic. I will spam you the tactic shit now, because it will be reminded to you throughout the entire video. Do not, under any circumstances, treat this thing like a Hetzer, or like a tank which can take a punch. To be honest with you, you shouldn't really treat the Hetzer like a frontline tank at times. But that said, she can survive a few punches, and she has angled armor. You're not only really weakly armored, you're open topped, which means any artillery that hits you will do probably triple the amount of damage that they would would occur in this thing. So it's something to be aware about. Make sure not to be caught out. If you are going to attack, make sure you've got friends with you who will take the shots for you. As much as that's evil, you can use your allies or your teammates for cover, because otherwise you will die really quickly. It is so easy to die in this thing. I've killed a fair amount of players who didn't quite know what they're doing, which is a shame. Another feature which actually I quite like about this tank, which I can actually talk to you guys in this thing, because normally whenever I do a tank review, or at least some tanks, I talk about the gun traversity, or at least in tank reviews I say the gun angling, if you will. But in this one it's a little bit more evident. You can see here on the gun plate that the actual design of the traverse, and this thing has got an amazing traverse. Like, if you look, you can put that gun all the way to there. Pretty much. You got a good 45-degree angle. So rather than in some tank destroyers like this one, which has a very limited arc of travel, the Tier 4 tank destroyer has a centralized gun, which is handy in most situations, and has the ability to look from, say, actually, this is quite a good example. You could probably look all the way to there and follow your target. So say, for example, that tank there was moving across to the other tank over there. I could shoot and keep shooting until he reaches the Batchat. That's how awesome this tank destroyer with its traversity is. I would say this is one of its strongest features of this tank. One of the features I like the most, if you will, of this tank. Because of its gun traverse. That's one of the things that was always frustrating about the Hetzer, was although it could aim, it couldn't aim better than that little courtyardy thing there. Whereas with this thing, I could aim from here to there, no problem. So that is something that this thing, although, you know, that this thing has over the Hetzer any day. So that's quite a useful advantage. Another thing which this thing has an advantage over the Hetzer is view range, 360. In comparison to the Hetzer's 260, you have a 100 view range advantage because you're open-topped, which means that your vehicle, and if you don't know, any open-topped vehicle has a much better view range for for the reasons stated. Like, you know, you can see further, you don't have to use a port and everything, and your crew aren't vital. That's why the Sao has 330. That's pretty good for a thing, but with other tank destroyers, let me have a look, see. Like the British, the Electo, that has 390, so that has better view range than you, but has shit armor. The American T40 has 400 view range, and the tank destroyer M8A1 has very good view range, and the Russian Su-85 has better view range. So yeah, I mean, you know, you've got much better view range than the Hetzer. Unfortunately, you're not the greatest for other things when it comes to view range, which is a pain in the arse. But your signal range is actually quite good, being at 550. Which, if we nip over here, the Russians suffer quite badly because they have. Another advantage that you have over the Hetzer is the view range. Now, unfortunately, now, before I go into the other thing, for the Hetzer, you've got a 260 view range. That was quite, I would say, a 260 view range was probably the worst aspect of the Hetzer, was its very bad view range, because being a close-top vehicle couldn't see as much. Whereas with the Marder, you've got a 360 view range, which is very good, very impressive indeed. The problem is, though, it's not as good as there aren't many tanks which beat you in it. That aren't as good as you in it. The French have 330. That's of course natural. The British actually have better by 390, so 30 meters better than you. The Americans actually have the top one, with one of them being 400, and I'm assuming the other one as well. Yes, 370. So the American T40 has the highest view range, with 370 being the second top. So that's pretty damn impressive. And the Su-85B has 390. So, damn. That's quite bad. That's not so good. Shit. Yeah, that although it's not a major I mean, it can be a disadvantage in aspects of when you want to camp on a line and you can't quite see into the distance. That can be a real pain in the arse. But it's at least, if you will, better than your Hetzer tank. It's not to be honest with you, 360 view range works well enough for you in combat. I've not really felt a disadvantage, if you will, to having 360 view range. I know I'd have a disadvantage when I came into fighting with this thing's view range, but not with this thing. This thing definitely works a lot better with its view range than the Hetzer tank does. One thing it doesn't actually beat the Hetzer in is radio range. The Hetzer has the lucky advantage of having a FUG 11, whereas the Marder 38T only has a FUG 8. Now, a FUG 8 is not something to knock because shit tons of light tanks will be getting it. So if you've played up the tiers along with the Marder 2, you'll already have unlocked this thing, thus allowing you to not have to worry about researching the radio. So with the Hetzer, though, the Hetzer does have the FUG 10, which is quite impressive, and then it gets the FUG 11, which is basically like it's a small man's version of a FUG 12, and it beats you in radio range. But that said, if we look at other tanks, the French, what do the French get? The French get a tier 7. So 455, and your radio range, just to remind you, is 550. So you're better than the French. Well, let's check out the British. The British have tier 7, which only does to 450, so you have that advantage to work with. The only other nation that beats you is, once again, the Americans. The Americans, the MAA-1 gets the 750, their top radio, which is very impressive. And you nip down over into the American T-40, which gets a tier 9 radio at 615. Which basically gives you a shit ton of tanks to work with. So the Americans basically get the advantage in radio, but the Soviets don't do well with their radios because they get a tier 8 which does 525. They're the only other competitors. They're the only ones who are actually close to you but can't quite beat you. So although you don't have that much of a good view range, your signal range will certainly help you out when you're facing up against other nations. Maybe not against the Yanks, but most certainly against everyone else. Now, on to the best part of the review, or at least my favourite part, the guns. Now, let's go into the research tech tree, because this thing is actually quite interesting. Now, if you've gone through the Marder 2, which you'll have to have gone in order to get either the Hetzer, but you won't have to if you want to go for the Marder 38T, but you probably want to anyway. The top gun you get on the Marder 2 is actually the second gun you get on the Marder 38T. It's a bit confusing, this. Basically, the first gun with its 96 pen but better damage, something to be aware about. Is the first one. This used to be the top gun on the Marder 2, but then they changed it about in the latest patch, so now this is the first gun you get. Although it's got alright penetration, well, it's not good enough really to be taking on tier 4s or 5s or god forbid 6s, but you do a lot more damage. You do 5 more damage, which is pretty good. Then of course you'll have had this gun, which is pretty much your bog standard gun, 75mm. 17.65 rounds a minute, much better penetration. You know, 10 more, pretty much 12 more damage, 12 more penetration, which does make the difference, and a hell of a lot, and not as much damage, which is a bit of a shame. But you are 75mm, better accuracy, very good aiming time. So you'll be using that for a while. Then you use this thing, which has pretty much the same pen. But if we have a little comparison between the two, is a much better rate. It has a better rate of fire, much better accuracy, and a much better aiming time. This thing is very good. It spits out rounds as best it can. Unfortunately, its penetration is not as good. I'm thinking it's probably the penetration of this gun isn't as good as the Hetzers, because you get the L48, which has 110 pen. So you have a little comparison, though. The top gun, though, if we have a look, you have a faster firing rate. Yes, the penetration isn't as good, but the damage is the same as the L48. Your accuracy is much better, and you have a much better aiming time by 2.4. So in a sense, this thing is an improvement upon the Hetzer. It's just you won't be able to penetrate as much. But if you've been driving the Hetzer, you'll know where to aim anyhow. It's just you got to learn how to aim a little bit more with this thing. But apart from that, this gun here is very good. Very good gun. I found this to be a very useful tank destroyer, especially in tier 5 matches. Because normally in some tier matches, there are people who just give up and think, I can't do anything. Either because they're either driving derp gun tanks or other things. But with this tank destroyer can most certainly work with this gun, and it's fantastic to use. I love this thing so much. Oh. So, on to the next phase, which is equipment and crew training skills. Now, because I haven't really fully upgraded the crew, I haven't fully upgraded the crew, but I most certainly will try at some point. Let's go to we'll go equipment first, then we'll talk about crew. So, if you wanted to keep this thing, which I wouldn't advise against it because it's a very good tank destroyer. The first thing you probably want to have is camouflage, because yeah, camouflage. This thing needs to be hidden. I mean, I've gotten on well with it. I mean, how I use my tank destroyer is probably how many things don't want to be. How tank destroyers probably don't want to be used. And despite probably me saying earlier that you should never use this in actual full-blown combat, I'm probably going to end up doing it in the bloody combat videos. It's a pain, but still, But generally speaking, an advice to other players is get some camouflage, because you don't want to be caught out in the middle of nowhere with that. You don't want to be caught out, basically. So get yourself some camouflage. Try not to use it well. It doesn't cost much. Well, says he. It doesn't cost much to get, and it's well worth it in the future. Very much important, and that way you can keep your tank hidden in the shadows. For your second, naturally, you have got to go for a medium caliber tank gun rammer, because what better way to inflict more damage upon your foes than to fire faster? Finally, it is up to you, but for once I will state that the enhanced gun laying drive is actually a bad choice for the Giz gun, because think about it. A 1.5 aiming time is more than adequate to be able to work with, so that way you can save 500,000 credits and go for something like the coated optics, which is a good idea, but an even better idea is to go for the binocular telescope, because naturally this thing works absolutely fantastically when it's stationary. Thus, binocular telescopes would be your ultimate choice and wise choice in order to make this thing super effective. So, to sum up on equipment: camouflage, medium caliber tank gun rammer, binocular telescope would be the highest of priorities. Things you should avoid: enhanced gun laying drive, this at all times, never been ammo racked, if you want. I mean, if you want, but let's face it, if you are actively seeking these out, thinking, oh, I might need that, you're driving this thing wrong. It's a tank destroyer, it's not a tank. The whole point of a tank destroyer is it's meant to destroy tanks, not meant to be a tank. Now, onto the crew. Now, obviously, Commander, naturally, you will want to train him up in something like Mentor or Recon. Actually, no, Mentor for your Commander. Oh, he's also the bloody gunner. Bollocks. Okay, well, Mentor, so that way the rest of your crew can work well. For your driver, clutch braking is a good idea because it is brilliant and I love it, and you should all use it because it is the best skill you can give your driver. Afterwards, either off-road driving or smooth... Actually, no, don't worry about off-road smooth ride because you won't be firing on the move unless it's absolutely necessary. Clutch braking, off-road driving, preventative maintenance afterwards, but that's probably a perk. So you probably want to go clutch braking, off-road driving, repairs, and then after you've done 100% on repairs, do preventative maintenance. That way you don't have to worry about it. For your radio operator, you want to do something which is quite interesting. Put situational awareness on. That basically extends your view range. I don't know whether it extends the view range around your tank. When you get close up to a tank, it automatically detects it for you. I don't know whether it affects that or whether it affects your actual view range, but put him on a situational awareness. For your loader, you will want to put him on camouflage, then afterwards put safe stowage, because it's, although you won't have to worry about ammo rack, it's something to always consider. You know, I haven't been ammo racked much, or if before. I mean, that said, this thing is on such low hit points that it doesn't take much to kill it. So, if I have been ammo racked, it's because of my low hit pointage. But yeah, generally speaking, train your crew in either probably camouflage is much better than repairs of this one. But yeah, camouflage, then repairs, or camouflage, safe stowage, then camouflage or repairs once more, thus giving you the best chance of hiding. Once you've got your Commander 2, by the way, going back up to your Commander 2, finished 100% on Mentor, swap that out for Sixth Sense, and then either train him back on Mentor or camouflage once more. Just forgot to mention that, but still. Or, if better still, once you get your Mentor up to that, and once you've got your next skill, either repairs or camouflage up to 100%, change it so you can get yourself Deadeye. It's an extended process, but to be able to know when you've been spotted is an important thing, especially if you're in this kind of tank destroyer. Now, after me talking for a bloody long while about this thing, let's get into the fields of battle. And we're back, and I'm in very bad tiering. Very bad tiering. Yes, we are currently in somewhere, and we are currently on the north side, which I do like. I prefer the north side, but at the same time, not so good. Anyway, talking about that gun traverse, check it out. Look at that. That's as far as my gun. It actually goes a little further than I previously stated. That's how awesome this gun traversity is. This thing is absolutely fan-bloody-tastic, and it is a dream. I hear, though, the flak bus is very much different in contrast, so I'm a little sad about that. But whatever. Unfortunately, things must happen. But still, this thing is a very good tank destroyer, and the gun traverse is probably one of my favourite features about this tank destroyer. Unfortunately, we are in a tier 6 game, so my likelihood of the likelihood of me being able to be effective in this game is quite low. But as you can see, I'm not going to take on shit tons of enemy tanks and try and be all like Captain America and sort of take on the enemy team. But that said, I can still do a fair amount of damage, but I need to be extremely careful not to be spotted. And unfortunately, my camo rating is a bit pants because my crew hasn't got anything. And I'm kind of saving up for something else, so yeah, the flak bus. So I haven't elected to buy stuff. Oh, he has taken a nasty punch. As the enemy T1 heavy charging up on the line, he is coming up, and he is being brave, but will he get shot? Ooh. Dare I shoot? Dare I shoot? Fuck it. Bang! Critical hit. I've damaged him so much, he exploded because of another tank. What is over there? Panzer III Ostif A. Oh, shit. Right, there's one of their enemy tanks. Let's have a look, see. KV-1S. Yeah, this is the thing you got to be extremely careful of. When you're in a tier 6 game, this is kind of the worst tiering you will get, by the way. Unless you team up in a failed platoon. This is probably, yeah, this is the worst kind of tiering you can get in a T1. Oh, can I be an ultimate douche and get a kill from here? Fire! Kills the KV-1S. I don't think I've got actual shot. Oh! What did I just do? What? Oh, you got to be shitting me. Seriously? That guy's like, for fuck's sake, man! Throws the keyboard out the room and screams to his parents. What a shot. There you go. Another fantastic feature about this thing. It kills tier 6 heavies. Fucking serious. Sorry, this has kind of been a troll day for me. I've had, oh, this is fantastic. What a way to do a review. I'm gonna, if we die, I'm gonna play the review nonetheless. This is going in the review now. This has to go in the review. I cannot have it any other way. Anyway, so, yeah, the gun depression as well, if you have a look, is absolutely fantastic. I'm on my borderline. I can't aim any further down, and I'm still getting a good look. That is very good. Currently, the enemy team are doing stuff. Can I hit this guy on the side? No, I'm going to have to sneak a little further forwards. But you can see here, the gun...
Enemy armor is destroyed.
I know it was the KV-1S, but for God's sake. Oh my Jesus Christ. Oh, no, I actually think it would be a wise decision to cap. Because we'd be, like, ripped apart in, like, 5 minutes. Oh, no, there's a Marder. They're all camping back at base, which is... I feel sorry for the Marder teams on these guys, because now, Steel... got most of the kills now. It's just like, yoink, bang. There's another kill stolen. Oh, God. Anyway, yes, so, yes, this thing is a very versatile tank destroyer, and I would say, in comparison to the Hetzer, as much as the Hetzer has the advantages of both armor and radio range, this tank just outperforms it in so many ways. Yes, it's open-topped. Yes, you will die really quickly if you're spotted, but in comparison, you will have a much better... I think much better rate of fire, much better aiming time, fantastic gun traverse, and you know, it is just a much better gun/tank destroyer than most other tanks out there. And I'm really loving this thing. It is such a useful tank destroyer. I cannot say enough how much. I can't say enough how good this thing is. Ow, that must hurt. Ouch. For a second there, I thought I fired again. Oh, you. Anyway, time to focus now. Right, we've got our enemy Churchill over in yonder. Let's fire our weapons. I'd say the only downside to this gun is the fact that when you fire it sometimes, and you hit, sometimes you get a low damage roll, and it results in the destruction. Oh, I thought I was going to get it. Oh well. Schütze. No. Yeah, you see, there's the disadvantage. Sometimes some shots, bang! There's a destruction. Again. Oh wow, if I get a top gun, that'll be silly. Most of them being heavy tanks. What? Non-premium, by the way. All standard shells. Oh, what the fuck's going on? Anyway. I'm going to take cover, actually. I'm pissing away so much luck today. Okay, moving. Oh, don't stay in the cap. Don't stay in the cap. Oh, so... Ah! I fucking knew it. The one person. The one fucking person. I knew my luck was going to run out at some point. I'm like, no, there is no way I could actually go through the entire match and get a top gun. Nope, no luck. I should have moved. Oh, well, that said, I took on... I vultured like a mother. I vultured so hard in this one, so I'm not going to be surprised. But there you go. In a tier 6 match, your worst kind of... Shit, that guy likes a derp gun. In your tier 6 tank destroyer, sorry, tier 4 tank destroyer can take out tier 6s, and that is all she wrote on that one. So, yeah. Awesome. We're about to win this one, so I will... cut recording until we get into another match. So our next match may not be as entertaining. Oh wait, no, the game's about to end anyhow. Damn it, I could have got a top gun. This is always the way. I get loads of 5... Oh wow, hammer rack and everything. There's loads... I get this a fair amount of times. Loads of shots being fired, and I'm like, yeah, I've got 5 kills, and then I die. And then it's just like, fuck. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Reaper ripping the crap out of the enemy. Not doing much damage, but killing all the bastards. Yeah, KP-1S, how? Took out the commander. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Fantastic weapon. Not bad ammo storage. If we take away the HE, 33 shells, 5 APCR, not bad. Anyway, let's get into the next match, so I'll see you in the game. And we're back, and we're actually in the best kind of tiering you can find yourself in this tank. Unfortunately, it's not one of those, as soon as you get into the game at tier 4, you feel like, ooh, I'm going to do so much damage. Because there are lots of tanks in tier 4 that can still do damage to you. But, that said, this thing is absolutely fantastic when it comes to tier 4s. I love it. You guarantee to hit on everything, so you don't even need to worry about HE. And like I said about the speed. Although this thing doesn't go lightning fast, it most certainly gets to our nice speed very quickly, and it most certainly has... I don't know, I keep saying good things about this tank, and I can't tell you how much I like it. And something tells me the moment I put my hand on the sodding Panzer, what was it? The Flak Bus. I'm probably going to end up doing the review saying, this tank fucking sucks, I hate it! I hate it! You know, sort of stupid Sod's Law's theory about that. Anyway, so. But now, not too bad. Not too bad on this one, so let's have a little look-see. Enemy tanks will probably be going over that top right now. My view range failing me at this point. If I had a bad view range, this is my bad view range, so this is where probably binocular telescopes really would come into their own. That said, I wish I might try and find a map mod which can tell me how much my visual view range is there. But I have got a matey moving up in his T-28, or what I call shed with a gun. It would appear the enemy are moving up on the central to right flank, and there is a Panzer IIG, but I am more interested in the Chiha, because the Chiha is attacking our midline, and no one is watching it, and I have a rear shot. Can I hit it? No, I can't. Oh, no, he's backing up. He's like, okay, I'll reverse. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I'll just stay there. Oh, what? My ass. Right, anyway. Now the enemies start to show themselves, and a shed with a gun. Ooh, the Panzer 1C, mortal enemy of any open-topped vehicle or lightly armoured vehicle. And my gun is absolutely being terrible today. Oh, God, what am I doing? Ah, shed with a gun. Let me shoot you. Bang! And that went far. Ooh, Panzer 1C is in the open, as perfectly hoped. Oh, come on. I'm doing terrible today. I'm spamming so many shots now. I'm doing bad. We're losing 2-4, which isn't helping. Panzer 1C versus Panzer 1C, and it would... Oh, he just got ammo racked. Ouch. Right, so there you go. The 1.5 aiming time, making this thing a really useful tank when it comes to supporting friends trying to get out of certain situations. Fire! Damn! Ricocheted. There's the Panzer 1C playing the Bumblebee tune. And the Traverse, making this thing a fantastic gun. And bang, he's gone. Right. So the enemy forces are trying to cross on the left flank. There is no one to try and defend them. Ah, shit. This is where perhaps taking cover of my treads probably be a good thing. What's a good idea? Moving up or... Yeah, we'll wait for these treads to be fixed. Bang, there you go. Right, so I'm going to let these guys push up. Our DW2 isn't doing much. We've knocked out their Matilda, which is quite a good thing, because the Matilda in this game is, at tier 4, is one of those tanks which you don't want to bump into, because most tier 4, well, a fair amount of tier 4s can knock it out, but it's still one of those tanks which can be a real pain if the guy who's driving it knows how to angle. There's nothing worse than a Matilda driver who knows how to angle. So the enemy team are on the back foot. We have killed 10 of their dudes to our losses of 6. So now they're probably taking cover and camping like a mofo. There is a Lee, but I'm more interested in the tank. I'm more interested in destroying their Marder. There is their Marder. Right, I have got a somewhat of a shot. Can I take it? No. There is a Panzer III. I'm going to go for the Marder 38. Bang! There's a shot. He's taken a hit. He knows who's aiming at him. Fire. Nice solid shot to the side there. Panzer 1C, you are a freaking legend. Okay, now I just need to wait for the fire. Nope. Completely missed. Cocked it up. Sorry, Panzer 1C. If you die... Ah, bollocks, you died. Oh, can I avenge you? Nope, the gun says, fuck you. I'm not going to go there. Now I do not need this damn thing to take me to the desktop. Oh, I fucking hate you when you do that, computer. I don't know why it does it, it just does it. I'll be minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, I'm playing in the middle of a game, the moment is getting critical, and then my computer goes, herk-a-durk-a-durk, do you want to play? Well, guess what? Desktop! And you're just like, no! No, 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 no! And you end up losing because of it. You're like, I want to hit you with a sledgehammer, but I can't. Honestly. I tell you now, anger management courses should incorporate computers crashing to desktops at the wrong moment. So much. It used to be worse because I had that bloody shift key thing. So whenever you tapped the shift key for like, I don't know, 5 times, if you're quickly spamming from this, it would take you to the desktop, and then it would say, "Did you know you pressed this 5 times?" And you're like, "No shit, Sherlock, I didn't notice my own self." And it was bad timing. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on with the game. So their DW2 is making a one last fanatical stand. Our Matilda player is kicking ass, taking names, and chewing bubblegum. Can I get in there to do some damage? Probably not. Oh, I'm in your way! No, you're not. Damn it. I was hoping to sort of steal the kill. The enemy Marder is on their team. Over there. Watch out. If artillery players know that, I'll be on my way to... Well, if artillery players... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say, if artillery players watch the mini-map, which they do, game over. So, unfortunately, well done to our team. I mean, that was kind of a good matchup, actually. We lost a lot, but they lost a lot. So how do we do in that game? Well, we didn't do a shit ton of damage. Like, we didn't make a whole massive shebang of it. But at the same time, we most certainly did a fair amount of damage to the enemy team. We definitely made an impact into the game. We may not have got any kills, but most certainly we've done something. And I guess this is quite a good video for that. This is basically showing the good sides of this thing. If driven correctly, you can get into the throngs of combat and really make the difference in things. Even at tier 6 games, you can be you're a force to be reckoned with, and that's what I'm really liking about this new German tank destroyer lineup. This thing has the potential, and I'm probably going to keep her. I might do, I might not do, I don't know. I probably will keep her because she's just too much of an awesome tank. I like it. I might give her a name. But yeah, this thing is fantastic and I love it to pieces. So, for a summary, I've pretty much given a summary of the entire freaking video. You don't actually need me to talk anymore, but still, I will. Yeah, so there you go. There it is, the Marder 3. A good first impression of the tier 5 tank destroyers. Sorry, tier 5. Of the tier 4 tank destroyer. A marked improvement over the Hetzer. Much looking forward to seeing what the other tank destroyers have in store. And that's it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, feel free to let me know by typing in the comment section down below, clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. Any kind of feedback to the video is also appreciated. Do I ramble on about stuff? Do I start things off not very professionally? Or, you know, anything feedback-wise? I have made a video about the Google Plus thing, so if you are typing it in and I don't see your comments and I don't reply to them, don't think I'm being mean. It's just I probably haven't seen them. So, that said, thank you very much for watching. This is Crap Hunter,